What's going on, Internet? Brandon and Jasmine from Nerdlocker.com, and we got some comic reviews for you this week.
This week we've got Wonder Woman, Voltron, and the Avengers, so
let's get to it.
Hey guys, Cubby here with Wonder Woman number 5. Now, I gotta say, this has been my favorite book out of the New 52. Hands down, it's the best action book, it's the best story book. Art-wise, it's been off the chain. Definitely one of the best books I've read. This art changes up a little bit. It's not Cliff Chiang, who I adore. It's someone else, but it's very, very similar. If anything, it's a little more clean and a little crisper than Cliff Chiang, but you know what? He's gonna come back in 2 issues, so I'm not even complaining. The story though, it kind of picks off after what happened in the first story arc, finding out about Wonder Woman's past. Things kind of escalating. She goes to London to go meet some contacts. You meet Poseidon, and holy crap, I did not think he would look like that, but it's pretty awesome. So I'm definitely going to recommend this book if you are a Wonder Woman fan, if you are an action book fan, if you are a good thing fan. If you love anything good, you will read this book. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
hey there nerds, Jasmine here from Nerdlocker.com, and I'm reviewing Catwoman number 5. This is hands down one of my favorite books of the New 52, if not one of my favorite books just of all books. I love this artwork. As I always say, Gillian March does a great job. He draws women perfectly, but he also does very good expressions, I think, in this book. So you're really not missing anything. You have full pages, these full splash pages that are great, and you have little panels that are equally as good. There's expression, there's emotion, there's fear, like you feel with Catwoman, with the stuff she's going throughout this whole story of almost dying. She dislocates her arm, she gets really beat up, but then at the end of the day sort of makes it through and then finds out, hey, it's not the end of the day and you didn't make it through. There's a bunch of more craziness happening and you're gonna get caught finally. So this book was great, I loved it. I'm gonna keep loving it. It's probably one of my favorite books, like I said, of this year. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Steven here with Uncanny XMen number 5 review. It was amazing. The art was so beautiful. They were going into the tabula rasa, which was introduced in X-Force, which I really liked the way they tied it in together. They didn't do it too heavily for the very beginning. Later on, they kind of made it very much like if you didn't know what happened before, you'd be a little confused. And so I didn't like that because I prefer comic books to, if they're going to tie together, they also explain it a little bit in each one. But I did like how they did the tabula rasa part, so I'll give them that. But inside tabula rasa, it is beautiful. Like the art is so good. It's like as if the world has developed like 15,000 years faster there than everywhere else. So it's all like crazy good art, crazy beautiful plants, sea life. All the animals are so beautiful. The way the X-Men are interacting with them. It is such a beautiful comic book with a great story, introducing a perfect new storyline, really liking how they're progressing, and really interesting cameo from Captain America. So make sure to check this out because I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, Brandon here, and I read Avengers 21 this week. This is such a good book. I dropped it for a while, and then right after Fear itself, I'm like, maybe I should get back on, and I made the right decision. Every team basically gets the crap kicked out of them this issue. They kind of break up to go take on different parts of Hydra or Hammer and all the bad guys, and they really don't do a good job of it. The issue ends awesomely. I can't wait to see what happens in the next one. I'm giving this 4.5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey, Haley here with Moon Knight number 9. And if you've been enjoying this book as much as I have, I think you're really going to enjoy this one because they go off more into Moon Knight utilizing his multiple personalities, and you get to feel it even more. And that's been my favorite part of this series so far. And then on top of it, there's a great cliffhanger. And I don't want to say any more because I think you really just need to read it. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey nerds, Cubby here with Near Death number 5. A really great book. This is the first issue I read, and it's kind of like the last issue of this first story arc. So in terms of storytelling, it was actually pretty followable. It's pretty good storyteller, I guess. The art was actually very interesting. It's very similar to Sean Phillips from Criminal, who he works a lot with Ed Brubaker. If you're into crime noir books, you totally know the style. Kind of gritty, kind of dark, a little muddled, but it gets the point across. It gets the story across. It's not a happy story. It is a sad, heartbreaking story. Not too heartbreaking. It seems like it's about a guy kind of on the run from other dangers, people that are very dangerous, trying to get out of it. Has love interest that gets injured. He goes to save her and actually does. It has a cool little twist at the end. Nothing too crazy, nothing M. Night Shyamalan like. It was a pretty solid book in terms of enjoyment, but not something I would definitely run out to get right away. I would definitely recommend it though if you are into little more darker stories. So I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
One of the comics I got to review this week was Hack Slash number 12, and I have to say that this book is absolutely awesome. In this issue, we get Nazis, zombies, raptors with giant brains, a gigantic spider. King Kong is even in this issue. If there's one indie book that you have to be reading this week, it's going to be Hack Slash number 12. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Steven here with my review of Xeno Hex number 4. It was really good. I really liked the art style because it was more of the cartoonish art style, which I feel really matched the story type and the way the story progressed. If you haven't been reading, the people are being abducted by aliens, but then the government's trying to say that they're not being abducted by aliens, and it's just getting kind of crazy, and so it has these group of people who've all been abducted by aliens, and the government trying to say, no, this is what really happened, and they're trying to say, we actually did get abducted by aliens. So it gets pretty crazy, a really good twist ending. I really enjoyed this. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
I read Chew number 23. This has been one of my favorite books. I've reviewed this a couple times now, and I always say that. I don't mean to get repetitive, but this is just such an awesome story. It continues to get better. Things are not going really well for Tony Chew in this issue. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but it doesn't look like things will be getting better anytime soon. I'm kind of excited to see how he gets out of this situation and everything that happens because, yeah, it's looking grim. But either way, I'm going to continue reading this, and I can't wait for the next issue. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
I got to review one of my very favorite comic books, Morning Glories. Number 15 came out this week, and I have to say Nick Spencer is really knocking it out of the park with this book. This issue has plenty of espionage, mystery, and plenty of betrayal. You should all be reading this book. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey, this is Haley with my review of Prophet number 21. I was really interested in this book. It's got a lot of adventure and it's a different world, so I loved the art and all the creatures that you got to see were really interesting, and I'm interested to see what happens next. I know that it was a long time ago that the series started, but it's a good jumping off place because it starts a brand new story, so I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Staying here with my review of Ghostbusters number 5. Holy crap, this was good. If you're a fan of the original Ghostbuster movie, you have to pick this up because it really captures the dynamic of the old movie, the character interactions, and especially Peter Venkman, who I love, his personality, his style of humor. It catches it all so well. I really, really love this. The art style reminded me of the old school comic book movie tie-ins or TV show tie-ins that I used to love. It had great story, great art, and great atmosphere. It really caught that kind of feel that you want from Ghostbusters. So I'm easily giving this 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there, nerds. Cubby here with my comic reviews this week. I reviewed Voltron, the Defender of the Universe, number 2. And I gotta say, starting off, I'm not a huge Voltron fan. Of course, I appreciate it. It's an awesome sci-fi, Japanese anime canon. It's a great universe that's been there forever. Awesome TV show. Just never got really into it. Read the book. Totally awesome. This is actually a really, really interesting story. It's not so much taking place within the actual Voltron universe. I mean, it's in the actual Voltron universe, but not in their time frame. It's actually a lot of the story took place in pretty much our future. It was like 2014 in Nevada, which Nerdlocker is based in Las Vegas. So it was actually kind of cool because it looks like Vegas. But it's going into kind of like the Earth's defense system and how it got started. A lot of secrets being found out, a lot of questions being asked. Not too many answers in this book, but it's definitely building up for some big answers. So I'm definitely recommending this book, especially if you're a Voltron fan. I'm going to give this book 3.5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey there, nerds. This is Jasmine from Nerdlocker.com, and I'm reviewing Lord of the Jungle number 1. First of all, this is pretty much Tarzan. Don't have any awesome illusion that's going to be anything other than Tarzan. It's pretty much a different story, but you're getting Tarzan. It was really sad because you have this couple who gets stranded on this random deserted island in the middle of nowhere, and it's tropical and beautiful, and they're pregnant, and they know it's a boy, and so they slowly build their little treehouse from heaven, I guess, and it's great, and they love it. and the baby comes, and then it flash forwards to a year later, and the mom's dying, and the baby's been born, and then the baby gets stolen, and the dad's killed too. It's the story of Tarzan. I don't know who pitched this idea and thought it was going to be anything other than the story of Tarzan, but it's Tarzan. I really liked it. I'll probably keep reading it. The art's very good. It's very well written. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 nerd skulls. All right, that's going to do it for comic book reviews this week. But until next week, be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as nerdlocker.com for all your nerdy news. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Brandon, and we'll see you next week for even more comic book reviews.